how the mighty fell last year as the Kansas City Chiefs, after years and years and years of going to the Super Bowl, missed the playoffs. And I understand. They had a chance to make it last year before Pat Mahomes' ACL injury. But this team wasn't that good. As much as we want to elude ourselves and say they have Patrick Mahomes, they can win any game, they weren't going to last year. No matter who they played, their offense line was a weakness. Their defense was a weakness. Their running game was a weakness. The receiving core was a weakness. They had so many weaknesses that it was hard for the best player in the NFL to overcome everything. Which leads me to asking the question, have they really redeemed themselves from last season? Have they fixed their issues? Did they have that spectacular offseason to correct everything that was wrong last year? Or are they the same Chiefs that we saw last year? And as much as we want to say they're back, Pat Mahomes is not going to miss the playoffs again, this team, it may still be very flawed. And it may still not be there yet. So today, I'm going to preview the 2026 Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs were active in free agency, and that's around where I can say the positives. Listen, I gotta talk about the guys they lost. Up first is Trent McDuffie, and yes, you got a first-round pick for him, which is good business, I guess, but also, you're not a better team for losing Trent McDuffie, and I understand you can't pay everyone, but you shouldn't be looking to trade a guy who is entering his prime and is the best nickelback in the NFL, in my opinion, a position that I highly value in NFL secondaries, and teams who win the Super Bowl tend to be amazing at. As we look at the Chiefs' construction, hey, they had Trent McDuffie, and last year look at the Seahawks, hey, they had Witherspoon. But I guess you can go a different direction. You found him in the draft, maybe you can find another guy. Then you lose the outside corner in Jalen Watson as well. Also going to the Rams, ironically enough. But it just really makes me look at this defense and think, what are you doing? Then you lose Brian Cook. What are you doing? Leo Chenal, what are you doing? They lost some team speed already on this slow defense. It's even slower this year. And then you look at the guys they signed. Well, what were their big moves? Alohi Gilman, he's fine, solid. I really don't think he's a starting safety on a championship level team. They brought back Travis Kelce for 1 year, which is, again, fine. He really started to show his age last year, but he's still a solid, reliable player you can get good football out of. Tyquan Thornton, I actually really like bringing him back. I thought he was really good using him with Pat Mahomes. They had a great chemistry. And Khyiris Tonga, solid interior defense lineman, but the bell of the ball they paid $14 million to in Kenneth Walker per year. It's a 3-year deal. I don't like it. It's essentially a 2-year deal. He's probably not going to see that 3rd year. But I still don't like it because the Chiefs thought their biggest issue was their running back, when in fact, it was team speed on defense and offensive line. Yes, was running back a weakness? Absolutely. But not such a big weakness you need to go pay Kenneth Walker a lot of money, a guy who's proven in his NFL career when he is not splitting carries, his body breaks down, he has injuries. That big major playoff run we saw from him was because the Seahawks limited him in the regular season. Zach Charbonnet is a really big reason as to why Kenneth Walker had such great success. And this is not me saying Kenneth Walker's a bad player. He's a very talented player when he's on the field. But my concern is when you look at his injury history, you cannot bet on him being on the field if you give him lead bell cow reps throughout the entire season. And the Chiefs can't afford to make a free agency signing like that, knowing they are risking pretty much their entire offense and offseason game plan on if our running game is better, our team is better. And to me, that is highly illogical thinking, considering you need to fix your offense line for your running game to get better. I don't care who's running the football. I saw it with the Giants for years with Saquon Barkley. If your offensive line sucks, your running game will suck. And the Chiefs' offense line sucks. Now we move on to the Chiefs draft, and I have very mixed feelings on this, because there are some picks I absolutely love, and there are some picks that I think are really atrocious. Starting off, Mansour Delane. Mansour Delane wasn't my number one corner, but I still very much liked him. I think he's extremely talented and can be a reliable corner in the NFL. I don't view him as a nickelback. I view him strictly as an outside boundary corner, which is good. I think it would be better if you had a nickelback there instead of replacing Justin Watson. You should look to replace Trent McDuffie. But Delane is a talented guy. I don't fault them at all for making that pick. Good pick. Peter Woods. I was so low on him because I am sick of hearing Clemson players getting hyped up and then failing the league because their coaching staff does not do a good job prepping them. Their defensive line coach is not good. Since Brent Venables has left, those defenders entering the NFL have not lived up to expectation, and teams keep breaking that glass thinking it's a Clemson guy. They're going to work. They worked with Brent Venables as a DC. They had great coaching. Oh, what do you mean it's not? Peter Woods is going to get bullied. He's not strong enough to hold up against NFL offensive linemen. He's quick, yes, but a quick guy that's going to get overpowered all the time is not someone who's going to be reliable in the NFL. R. Mason Thomas. Hey, we're back to a pick I love. I loved R. Mason Thomas. He has a wicked quick first step, and he's something the Chiefs need, which is team speed on defense. And to be fair, Peter Woods provides that. But I'm a lot less concerned about team speed in the interior defensive tackle position as I am on the edge position. And R. Mason Thomas can go all over the place. He can really maneuver. You can really blitz him in different unique ways. But the one thing I will always say you have to utilize is his first step, as it's wicked fast. He can get to quarterbacks extremely quickly. And hey, a guy developed by Brent Venables, the former Clemson DC. Jadon Kennedy, I don't really have strong thoughts on this pick because, yeah, he's a little earlier than I would take him, but I see with what they're doing. He's a guy that I think can plug and play if you have an injury. He's not bad. He's nothing amazing, but can be a solid player. But I really think his value will be on special teams, and the Chiefs do need help on special teams. Emmett Johnson. This could save your Kenneth Walker signing if Emmett Johnson is as good as I think he is and a lot of other people think he is. Because he's very talented. He's a good, talented running back, has good burst, has good lower body contact ability where he can just drive play. He is very talented. And if you run into the situation where I think they're going to run, if they utilize Kenneth Walker as a full-on bell cow and he deals with injuries, Emmett Johnson will be a plug-and-play guy that you can utilize. And I would just honestly say you should just have two-back sets. You should just utilize two running backs this entire season. Focus on getting Emmett Johnson as many carries as possible because of two reasons. One, he is a young guy and will develop. And two, you are helping Kenneth Walker be his best player later on when you need him the most. Cyrus Allen from Cincinnati, he was a slot guy who I actually really liked. His acceleration is really, really good. He can create good separation. And he has the ability to win in contested catch situations, although I wouldn't say it's his strong suit at all. Garrett Nussmeier. I was lower on Garrett Nussmeier than a lot of people. I didn't have him graded out as a third-round pick as many people did at the time. I had him graded out as a fifth-round pick. So if I had him graded out a fifth-round pick and they drafted him in the seventh round, I got no complaints. Nussmeier has a good arm. He's got good field vision. But the one concern I have with him is he folds under pressure quickly. But that being said, everything you look at him, you watch him play, he could be a very good backup in the NFL. And I'm not saying he's going to be the backup quarterback as they have Justin Fields, but it wouldn't necessarily shock me if he beat out Justin for that second string position by the start of the regular season. If you can tell by this video with everything I've said, I'm not really optimistic about the Chiefs' moves they made in the offseason. Nor am I optimistic about them this season, as I see too many holes on this team, and it's hard for me to bet on Patrick Mahomes overcoming everything when he didn't overcome it last year. Yes, you got some talent on this team. I'm not going to deny that. Pat Mahomes is one of the best players to ever play the game of football. Travis Kelce is one of the best tight ends to ever play the game of football, but he's a shell of his past self. You have some offensive linemen I really like. Creed Humphrey is one of my favorite centers in the NFL, and in my opinion, still one of the best. Josh Simmons is a young player I really liked at the left tackle position, and I think can grow into something in the NFL. But that's almost when I stopped really liking a lot of their decisions in future that they have made. Chris Jones should have been the guy they let walk instead of Trent McDuffie. And I will die on that hill because Chris Jones is an aging interior defensive tackle that's clearly losing his athleticism. And those are not guys you bet on and keep paying long term. But they did, and it's going to affect them with cap management. The receiver room is betting on Rashee Rice to stay out of trouble, which I don't feel comfortable betting on. I doubt the Chiefs are. Xavier Worthy to stay healthy, which he has not showcased the ability to do so in any point in his career. And then you have what? Tyquan Thornton, who looked good with Pat Mahomes last year, but is far cry from the guy that can bail out an entire receiving room on a week in, week out basis. You paid Kenneth Walker a lot of money. Great job. Who's your right tackle? Your left guard situation was atrocious last year. And Trey Smith, in my opinion, is one of the most overpaid interior offensive linemen in the NFL because he's far from consistent. Then you look at the defensive side of the football. The linebacking room is slow. The secondary is slow. The defensive line is slow. This defense is slow, and that's not how you win in the NFL. How are these guys going to be able to stop Lamar Jackson? He's so lightning quick, he can move around, and hey, maybe you get lucky. Maybe he is not going to play against the Chiefs because he has a history of missing games. But you can't bet on that, and that's the big issue I look at the Chiefs team is they might be able to sneak their way in the playoffs. They're not beating the Bills in the playoffs. I know Chiefs fans will say, oh, it's Josh Allen in the playoffs. You're not beating the Bills. As bad as the Bills defense is, Josh Allen would have a bigger field day against the Chiefs defense because his offense line is better. You're not beating the Ravens in the playoffs. The Ravens, as flawed as I think their team is, and trust me, I think it's very flawed, they would still beat the Chiefs. The Bengals would school them. And that's because this defense would have no chance against that offense. And then you look at other teams. The Broncos, hey, their quarterback's coming off a really bad injury and happened later than Pat Mahomes. But you look at that defense, there's no way the Chiefs' offensive line can hold up against that front seven. And Sean Payton is an offensive wizard. He will know exactly how to attack the Chiefs' defense and really embarrass them. The Chargers, their offensive line is healthy this year. And yet Justin Herbert and the Chargers still won games with worse tackle play than Pat Mahomes last year and Andy Reid. That's saying something. Everything is just not trending the Chiefs' way, which entirely means they're going to shut me up and prove me wrong. I'm fully anticipating everything I say here to be a cold take. But I can't look at this team realistically and say, it's Pat Mahomes, man. They're going to win. They're going to win. Because I saw it last year, and I was in denial for so long last year that it broke me to the point I don't see the Chiefs winning a playoff game this year. I don't see the Chiefs making the playoffs again this year. This is such a retool roster situation that is just going to have to take another year before they're ready to enter back to the realm of Super Bowl contention or even good playoff team, in my opinion, because the receiver room is still not there. Their tight end room, as talented as Kelce has been in his prime, he is falling off. Their offensive line is still really, really bad, and it's really stupid to not address it considering your quarterback is coming off a leg injury. I know ACL injuries are magically healed with how far medicine has advanced, but it's still a bad idea. Then you paid a running back with a major injury history running behind a bad offensive line. Not good. You trade away your best defensive player, and I will say their best defensive player because Trent McDuffie is that good, and you replaced him with nobody for your nickelback position. Justin Watson to Mansour Lane, that might actually be an upgrade, but it's the only position I can look at and say without a doubt it's an upgrade that makes sense. Kenneth Walker is an upgrade over your running back room, yes, but it didn't make sense to pay him. And that's where I'm at with the Chiefs right now, is that this team just doesn't make sense to do anything realistically in the NFL this season. I'd like to say thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to watch more season team previews, I'm doing 32 in 32 days. This is officially the halfway mark. 16 team previews are up at this point. If you're watching later, more will be up. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you share them, as all the support would really mean a lot. And I'd like to say thank you very much for watching, and I hope y'all have an amazing day.